Photorealism with AI has just stepped up to a new peak. OpenArt.AI has just released their photorealism model, and the results are pretty incredible. Now, it's really interesting what makes this model work. I'm going to go in and show you how it works, but I'm also going to bring up some images and just show you why this model works so well. And of course, you've seen the videos in the introduction. They're actually quite easy to achieve by combining this with some of the video tools found in OpenArt.AI. Now, before we start, OpenArt are the sponsor of this video, and there is a link in the description if you want to check this out for yourself. But otherwise, we're going to come down the left here and simply head into the image generator. Then once we're in, we're going to come up to model or character, and we're going to click the switch button and choose our model, which is on the right here, called OpenArt Photorealistic. I'm then going to add a very basic prompt into my prompt bar here. I have a fit and muscular man wearing a fluoro green singlet, curling weights in the gym. Auto enhance is off. We're going to come down. I'm going to generate two images, and I'm going to change the aspect ratio to 16:9. And then I'm going to hit create. And that's literally all you need to do to actually activate this model. Is basically change it, add your prompt, and it will generate some images. So let's see what we got out of that prompt. So you see here, we've got a guy, he's curling a weight, wearing a Nike singlet, and it looks just like a real photo. If I go across to the next image, we get another very convincing photo. There is nothing too fancy about these photos. They just look very real, almost like it was taken with a camera. Now, you might actually notice if you look a bit closer, things such as little imperfections and the veins and the fact that the lighting looks like it's not like a professional photo shoot. It looks like someone just took this photo on their phone, makes it a very convincing image. It hasn't tried to add any crazy artistic things into it. It's just done a good job of creating something grounded in reality. But naturally, one image isn't going to be enough to really review exactly how effective this model is. So I've created a whole bunch of other images here, and I want to sort of show you a few more reasons that might better illustrate why this model works as well as it does. Now, this example, which I created of a close-up of a woman wearing black mascara, marble stone walls behind her, professional photo shoot, it actually has done a really good job of illustrating this. Little consistencies like the white nails make a difference, but also there are little imperfections of the skin. This is where I think it really shines and really makes the things convincing with the photos. The fact that it has like a little pimple on there and a few moles in a very non-uniform way, it helps to sort of take away that artificial look. But also just the way that the light hits the skin, the coloring of the skin, it doesn't have that plastically look. Every little strand of hair in the eyebrows, everything you see in the image just looks like a photo. So you can tell they've really taken a lot of time to train this model properly. Then I tried this German Shepherd in the park. The weight has the blurred field of vision, obviously always does a great job, but the fur doesn't have that perfectly uniform. Things are a bit messy and the lighting is a little bit dull. Looks like a DSLR photo taken from the camera I have at home. So naturally, these images are pretty point blank, pretty standard. So I decided to then try and up the difficulty a little bit just to see where this model went. So I prompted for a purple Nissan Skyline sports car parked in front of an ancient Buddhist temple, and this isn't too out there, but it was a step in that direction of combining two different things. And I also want to know if I got the model of the car right, which it looks like it has. Everything here looks pretty convincing. By the way, if you're looking to actually try this out and jump onto OpenArt.AI, at the moment they have an OpenArt x Minimax Storyweek with some Labor Day sales running until the 7th of September. What's really cool is that any user that upgrades to Advanced and Infinite gets unlimited video credits for Halo 2 by Minimax for the entire 2 weeks. But also any new users will get 5 free video generations and 1 free story. But also they will be hosting a story contest with a $15,000 prize pool across multiple categories. So check that out if that interests you also. Now I'll pop a link to the event information in the description below, but for now, let's get back to the video. But this time I tried to add something gigantic like a giant skull in a post-apocalyptic world behind some buildings, and it didn't quite do what I wanted, but I still think this is where it's tried to cling to the reality a bit more. It's popped the elements in the scene to make them more convincing and realistic. So trying to get hyper-realistic images that look like they weren't taken in reality doesn't really work with this model. And like I said, that's not the weakness, that's the strength, because we want to create images that are convincing. So by clinging to reality a bit, I think that this model works quite well for that purpose. Even when I tried adding an eye to this woman's forehead, it didn't really add it in there. However, the image itself looks really, really terrific. The way the lighting hits hard from the window, I think works really well. The gold is lit up quite well, and it still creates a high contrast image. But that's where it's important to start comparing this to some of the other popular models on this platform. So I chose GPT-4, Imagen, and Flux Dev to sort of see what differences we get, not only stylistically, but in the understanding of the prompt. So going back to this picture of the woman, we can see here it looks like a solid image. However, the eye doesn't appear on her forehead. But try the same prompt in Google's Imagen model and the eye appears on the forehead. However, because we mentioned award-winning photography, she's holding an award, but it looks photorealistic, but not that same level of convincing as what we get with the photorealistic model. But Flux Dev lands somewhere in between with the jewelry forming an eye. However, the models look a little too perfect, almost like supermodels, so really not that convincing as a photograph. But GPT seems to do the best job amongst all the alternatives, adding the eye, looking somewhat photorealistic, but still just has too much of an artistic flair to it and has a dreaded yellow tinge that seems to be in all the GPT images. So again, that is one of the limitations. The understanding of adding something more supernatural, a little bit more difficult, but you can't deny how much more convincing this photo is on the left to the one on the right. But before we go too much further, let's check out that surrealist image that we looked at earlier to see how that compares also. So here's our original image. It looks real, but it doesn't follow the prompt in regard to the surrealist style or the skull in the background. So I added in that I wanted a photorealistic image to the prompt, and in ChatGPT I got this. Looks more like an artwork, even though I prompted for photorealism, but it understood the prompt better. And Imagen, I think, has produced the best and most interesting image. Doesn't really look photorealistic, but this Flux Dev image looks the most photorealistic, but is also one of the most boring images of the lot. But just goes to show that this model probably isn't the best for surrealism, but it is the best for photorealism. But how well does it work with AI video? So I created this image of a city with a dog statue in the foreground, and I thought, why don't we take the next step and see how realistic we can create with a video of this image. So I open up the image and I head up the top right here to image to video. I then land in the OpenArt.AI video section. I'm going to run with Kling 2.1 and I want to use my photo as a start frame. I'm going to type in a basic prompt to get started. So I want the camera to pan around the dog statue and I'm going to go for a 5-second video using master and hit create because I want to get the best quality video I can. And then we get this video here, which looks very convincing. Now I find that very hard to pick as an AI video. We've got a solid photorealistic image, which really has all of the, I would say, almost mundane and almost non-exciting parts of photorealism baked into it that make it convincing. So it has a strong start with something as powerful as Kling 2.1 to convert it into a convincing video like this. It makes a perfect combination. This means that not only can you use the images in things like graphic design, websites, and things like that, where it's going to look very natural and not stand out as an AI image, you can also create some pretty convincing B-roll here. This could be used for so many different purposes. And I'm going to show you a few more videos that will further emphasize just how effective this process can be. Now, coming back to the image of the girl wearing mascara, I thought this was a great place to start because of how realistic the features were. All these videos have been made with Kling 2.1 using master, and you can see just how convincing the movement and the general feel of this video is. So then I tried this image again as I thought it really looked like a great image looking out the window. So I prompted for her to turn, look out the window, and this is the video we got. Again, very convincing, and I'm really happy with the result. So then I generated this image, and again, we've got nice imperfections to the skin. It looks real, and I wanted her to turn and smile. So here we see she turns and smiles. So it shows you that even with using a base image, you can use Kling 2.1 to get some very convincing emotion in your photos when turning them into videos. But I also found the way that the hands and the fingers are sitting on this guitar image was pretty convincing. So adding the Kling 2.1 again, and we get what looks to me, at least, to be some pretty realistic playing. But the final test was taking something a little bit more surreal like this, which still looks photorealistic. I added some dust blowing and a basic zoom out. And again, it didn't disappoint. I really like the way this video turned out. It looks realistic, but I also prompted for a lens flare, which I think was a nice touch. Now, as I mentioned, it's really just a few clicks to get this feature to work. So there's not really much teaching involved here. We're pretty much just looking at the results. This is probably one of the easiest ways to get convincing photorealism out of your images. And like I said, the way it really sticks to that photorealism makes it very easy for you to try different things with your prompt and still get convincing photos. And if you want something that's a little more cinematic or something that's a little more surreal or something a little bit more out of this world, you may need to try a different model. But if you're looking for B-roll or photos for graphic designs, web design, or anything that you really need to look just very natural, very convincing, this is a great way to do it. Because sometimes you can't find the photo you're after. If you might be looking on stock photo sites, sometimes there are particular things that are just nearly impossible to find. This is a great solution for that, whether if it's just having fun, creating videos, or using it as a full industry professional. I highly recommend you check it out. Don't forget to check out that OpenArt X Minimax Story Week to get some savings and some free credits for your videos and images. But otherwise, that's the video for today, guys. Hope you found it useful. If you did, please consider giving the video a like. Otherwise, hope to see you again soon. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.